You might be interested in this, maybe not. Let me know if you're not, because I'll stop. But when I was in high school, I guess I was about a junior, probably. I think that same year before that, maybe, there were four of us asked to play an auditorium session together. The only time we played together, four of us. Piano, bass, guitar, and myself, which we did. And then shortly after that, we learned of a project, WFBE, in conjunction with Alms and Depke. Now, Alms and Depke is a huge, huge department store, wholesale and retail, and it is now the building right across the parkway from the courthouse, and is now part of the courthouse. That was the Alms and Depke building. They still call it that. And anyway, there was a guy named Kirkendall. I imagine he was from out of town. I don't think he was attached to the station. In any case, he started a project there that was quite amazing. That is, it was for high school kids, and the publicity they got out of it was incredible. And I'll explain that. He organized and publicized the idea of 10 kids who auditioned from high school kids, 10 high school kids, every week, once a week on Saturday morning, appeared on WFBE within the facilities of the Alms and Depke building. They made an auditorium there. And so we went down to audition. We never rehearsed, ever. We went down to audition. We played for him. And he said, would you like to be on the staff rather than just compete? So we said, oh, sure. Well, okay, so we accompanied the others. From then on, there were 10 Saturday morning broadcasts of 10 different kids. And the winner from each week, and incidentally, the people packed in the hallways, they were all over the place. Huge, huge promotion for WFBE and Alms. Anyway, it was huge. And then the third week that we played, Doris Day showed up at Tilden High School. She's about 3 years younger than I. And she performed, and of course she won that week. And then at the end of 10 weeks, 10 winners, they had rented the music hall and publicized it to the point where it holds about maybe 3,000, but there must have been 5,000 to 6,000 people in there. I'm surprised the fire department allowed it, but they did. People were sitting on the steps, standing all over the place, standing room only, and sitting on the steps and the balconies. And we accompanied the others. And of course, like I said, she won the whole thing. But we had to play about in the middle of it by ourselves. Never rehearsed anything. All of a sudden, the four little guys on that huge, huge stage on forever. I was scared to death. And we hadn't rehearsed, we just play. And we did what we always did. And so that was quite an experience. And a tremendous promotion for WFBE and Alms and Depke.
So are you telling me that you were you played up instrument for Doris Day?
I played violin.
Yes, so you played violin.
In this group of four.
And you were part of her musical team back when she was first kind of starting out.
Well, yeah, it so happened that she was a contestant, and we were accompanying the contestants.
That's the proper word.
We went down there to audition to be on the show, but he asked us if we'd rather be on the staff and play for the others when they did their act.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought you might be interested because
That is a good story.
It was a tremendous promotion for WFBE at that time. Tremendous.
And you met Doris Day before she really.
No, I had never met her. She was went to a different high school than I, and she was a freshman when I was either junior or senior, I forgot which. And but right after that, she was hired to sing with Barney Rapp, who had a band, and he had his own building on Reading Road, a dance hall that was quite successful at the time. And he hired her shortly after that. She was about 16 years old, I guess. Hired her to sing with his band. And when he went to her name was Doris Kappelhoff. Doris Kappelhoff. And he didn't want to introduce her as Doris Kappelhoff, the singer. So she was going to sing the song Night and Day. Knowing that, when he went to the mic, he said Doris Day is going to sing Night and Day. And that name stuck. That's where she got the name Doris, but it was really Kappelhoff. And then right after that, shortly after that, she was on her way out to Hollywood with a partner, and a train hit them, hit by a train, and they said that her leg was injured. They said she might not walk. And anyway, she not only walked, danced, well, you know the history. Yeah. And then, I don't know if you're interested in all of this. Probably not. I could go on and on about her life and, yeah. and people I knew that knew her and so on. But when I got out of high school, and during high school, I played at night a lot of clubs.
Okay, before you go into that, can I ask you the typical Cincinnati question? What high school did you go to?
Hughes, okay. Yeah. And
what year did you graduate from Hughes?
1937. Mm-hmm. I'm 100 years old. I will be 100 years old in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
And I began playing clubs. And when I was, I guess I was a junior, maybe sophomore. Yeah. And I'd work till sometime 2 o'clock in the morning and go to school. I had a tough time during that period. But then when I did graduate, it was, I did some traveling. I went with a band, went down to Florida, and we traveled around Florida a little bit. And we played Louisville, and that was another group altogether, but there were 5 of us. And one of them in that band was Betty Rogers, who later became my business partner. And we had 4 music stores, Betty Rogers Music. And I had opened a store when I got out of high school with my boss. That is, I worked at Wurlitzer's for about 6, 7 years. Wurlitzer's was a music store downtown, very famous, well-known music store. And my boss down there and I decided to open a store together, which we did. And then my partner, he lived about 10 years and he passed away. And then I merged with Buddy Rogers, and then who I played with as a kid in high school, just out of high school. So then we were partners for about 25, 30 years. We moved here from Peoria, Illinois when I was 8 years old, and I think we were here a matter of months, 6, 8 months, whatever it was. And there was a guy going door to door soliciting for beginner string players for a studio in Walnut Hills, and I lived in Corryville, which is part of Clifton now. And so they signed me up. It was $1 a week, and they loan you the instrument, and you pay $1 a week for the use of the instrument and the lessons, 1 a week. And at the end of 30 weeks, $30, the instrument is yours, and the lessons, of course. So that's what got me started. So I had to take a streetcar and transfer at the Cincinnati Zoo to go over to Walnut Hills. And I became more interested in streetcars than violin. And I wanted to be a motorman. I could do everything that he did there. I could run that streetcar. Anyway, but anyway, I studied there maybe 6 weeks. Then they got me a private teacher, and I continued with private. I studied about, I guess altogether, uh, maybe 12 years, I would think. I went to the College of Music. I studied with Sig Efron, who was the concertmaster of Cincinnati Symphony at that time, many years ago. And, well, anyway, getting back to Beverly Hills, I played a lot of names that are no longer names. You wouldn't even know who they are. Sid Caesar happens to be one you might remember when you were a kid. And there were others too, Larry Storch, and other big time names at that time. And let's see, I played in the band there. Played in quite a few different bands over a period of years there. Accompanied the acts, the same acts that came to the Albee Theater. And I played the Albee Theater for a while too. And they went on the New York circuit. They went all over the country, the top acts. And so I got to play the top acts and get some experience at Beverly Hills. And I not only played in the band, but I played the intermission band as well. To go backstage, change my coat, and come back and play in it. And then from there, let me think now. Well, before that, yeah. When I joined the union, I was able to play right away. The union has a rule. You could not work a steady job until you were in the union for at least 6 months. That's to keep other people from out of town taking all the local jobs. And so, but they allowed me to play this job. There's a place called Lookout House, about equal at that time to Beverly Hills. It wasn't as flush, but it was on the same par, same owners, everything. Gambling going on and all over Newport, Covington, and particularly Beverly Hills and Lookout House. And they had big bands there, and big-time acts and so on. And I got a job. My first job was at Lookout House in the union. The non-union jobs were for musicians on their way up. You know, that's where you got your experience at that time. And that's where a lot of the performers got their experience. Now, none of that exists. So the performers don't get the experience they once were able to get in. Maybe there were 15 floor shows at any given time in Cincinnati, in different clubs around town.